Okay, now that you have all of your pieces cut, what we need to do is check to see if each of these 45 degrees creates our true 90 degree, because we take 45 plus 45, and when we put these together, it should be a perfect 90 degrees. So if I put one piece on this angle, they should come together and they should meet to make 45. So if I tested this one, and what I'm noticing is that these stay open a little bit. So if I lay these flat, what I'm actually having to do is, this is them flat on this surface, flat on this surface, and when I bring them together, you notice that this joint is open. So what I'm actually having to do is lift this up to make this flat, which means that this angle right here is not 90 degrees. Now with your tools, just having a hand miter saw, it's really hard to adjust this. You could get some sandpaper and you could carefully take your block and sand this bottom side so that the material here was closed off. So I could go like this. As long as I'm not changing the 45 degree angle. And then I could take this one and sand that to see if we can close that. So that already is a little bit better right there. Okay, so what we're going to do is we're going to lay this out. Take my 6-inch pieces, my 4-inch pieces. And what you're going to notice is we can do something that's called racking. And racking means is I could push this way. And even though I have 4 90-degree angles, if I move it, it changes these angles right here. So what we're going to do is I'm going to get a piece of tape and we're going to test this. So just like we did for the frame on our amp, we're going to put a piece of tape back here. Along this side, and then I'm going to put here, get this to where I like it, like that, and then bring my tape around, close that up, get another piece, do this angle, again try to get this joint looks really good. I really like this one. Even with it flat on the ground, you can see how tight this joint is. It's tight this way and this way, so there's no gap there. I'm going to tape this one. Rotate this. I want to push it as tight as I can, lining up the inside corners and the outside corners. Bring that closed. So now I have 3 of them, and now I'm going to do the last one. Take this, bring that joint together. Really important to get this just right. Okay, now we want to see if we've created a true rectangle. True rectangle is going to have 90, 90, 90, and 90. Now here's a great way to test that. If you flip this over, what you can do is you can measure from diagonal to diagonal, which if we do that, what we're doing is we're creating a triangle. So to see if this is a 90-degree triangle, this is a 90 degree, we're going to measure the hypotenuse of the angle. So if you look real quick before we do that at the miter, this is tight all the way. If we look at this one, it's got a little opening or a little gap right there. If I lift this up. So we would want to try and sand that, to try and sand, which would mean we'd be getting rid of a little bit of here. But for right now, sanding I think is only going to really make it worse. So what we're going to do is see if we get this square. So I'm going to measure, hook it on this corner, and I'm going to measure to the outside of this corner, which gives us 10 5/8. And then I'm going to hook my tape on this corner and measure across here. And this one measures 10 5/8. So now I know right here we have 90 degrees. So if I put this in here, it would give us 90-degree angle all the way around. I could test this. I could put it out here and test to see if this is 90, which it shows to be 90. So now we would be ready to glue. Now when you go to glue this, we're not going to be able to sand this if these are off, because it's pre-finished, as we talked about earlier. So we're just going to release one of these pieces of tape. And then what we do is we just open this up and lay it down like this. And then what you'll do is put glue just on one side. And this is where it's going to be really important for you guys to wipe any extra glue with a wet rag. So I'm just going to cover one side here. So now I can close that one. I'm just going to glue one side here. Okay. Take that extra glue, put it on this one. And then one on this last one. Right there. So now I'm going to flip this over because I care more about this outside joint here. I'm going to bring these together. And I'm going to press down and try to get that joint as much as I can. And then put a piece of tape. Line it up. Put a piece of tape across the top there. Bring this one together. Stick it onto one side. Squeeze together. As you're squeezing and holding that together, then press that tape down really good. Then I'm going to join this one. Get this tape out of the way. And now press this one. You're pressing down on both of these so the surface lines up. Press it, pull that tape across. And then one last. Push it together. Push on one side while you're pressing. Press that tape down. Now your picture frame should sit flat. So you want to press all four corners down. And there is our, now you can test, measure diagonals. It should be 10 5/8. So this one looks like it might be out of square. Nope, showing perfect. Now you're going to let that rest dry for the rest of the period. Then we'll take the tape off. wipe any glue off the back here. So really come over here, and if you have any glue in this rabbet here, you need to make sure you wipe that out with a wet paper towel, or any glue here. Flip it over, check to see if you have any glue, and you're set.